Okay, I forget which now. So it's been a couple hours and this thing's dried pretty well. It did the same damn thing. It wrinkled the paper, but not nearly as bad as it does when I put the regular PVA on it. That's alright, I can live with that. So the next thing I normally do, or what I've been doing here, is I've been putting vinyl on the back of the books to cover the spine. So I'm going to show how I do that. So get rid of these for the time being. We're going to need them again, but right in a second. So my steel ruler is about 1 inch. I just kind of eyeball these up because this doesn't need to be perfect because it's hidden, kind of. Really all I want to do is measure, get a half-ass measurement for the vinyl. If I was smart, when I 3D print these, I would print a relief in them, but I'm not smart, and everybody knows that. So to measure that, the easiest way I found to do it, and this was recommended by one of the other YouTube guys that I watch, is just take a piece of paper, stick it there. Now I'm going real tight with this vinyl on these things. So like I'm actually gluing the vinyl to the spine of the book. So I can kind of go pretty tight. Okay. Yeah, I guess. So this should be about 3 inches. This is a scale. I know it's a ruler, but they call this a scale. It's a Starrett, even. I really love this thing. I lost it for the longest time. So it looks like it's about 3.5 inches, which is perfect because the bigger books, Love Letters and Hope, Faith, Loyalty, they take 4 inches, but this takes 3.5. This book's a little thicker than book 3. Because well, it is because it's more pages. It's almost exactly 1 inch thick. So paw through my shit pile here. Alright, fuck it. We'll just cut a piece. Ooh. I'm actually going to move these. Yeah. Allergies are driving me nuts. So it's pretty cool. I bought this shit at Ollie's. If you're not familiar with Ollie's, it's like a discount store, and they sell odd lots and weird things, depending on what state you live in. As a matter of fact, I think New Hampshire they call it Ocean State Odd Lots or something. But Ollie's is a pretty cool place. The joke is good stuff cheap. I don't know if it's good, but the stuff is cheap. So they had this. It came like this. So this is the vinyl. It's like 22 inches or 20 inches wide. It's a weird size, but it's real light. I bought regular vinyl from the fabric store to do this with, and quite frankly, it was too heavy. Eventually, I may. The corners are radius. I didn't want the radius corner. Eventually, I may. I may eventually do or cover a book in vinyl, but that would be, it's more, that goes along the lines of what this is a lark, and I'm in no huge rush to do that. I do want it kind of straight. People tease me that, oh, why are you wasting time with a ruler? Well, experience has taught me that if you measure everything, you have a less of a chance of screwing it up. I'm going to screw it up here because I am not left-handed. Now, for the sake of uniformity with the project, what I've been doing here is marking this thusly. Oops. Wrong end. Get this marker. I don't even know where it came from, but I really like it. It's got Chinese writing all over it. It came with something I bought. It's not a Sharpie, but it's kind of like a Sharpie. So I just nipped the corners off here. It doesn't need to be perfect. I actually did make a 45-degree corner guide, but I don't need it for this. All right, the next thing I got to do is glue the vinyl together. Now, if you've ever glued vinyl, you know that vinyl doesn't like to glue to a whole lot. The only thing that likes to glue vinyl is rubber cement. And if you've ever heard anybody say, do you like to sniff glue? This is the glue that you sniff. You put it in a plastic bag and then huff on it until it dries. Generally, you pass out before it dries in the bag. But yeah, you don't want to. Well, I don't say you don't want to huff this shit. But it'll make you dumb. That's an inside joke with the glue huffing. Okay, so now I got to sit and wait for this to dry as I huff the glue. Oh yeah. Alright, that's long enough. This stuff actually needs to dry a little bit longer, but for the sake of the video, I'm gonna speed it up because I'm gonna shut the camera off and go do something else while this actually cures. So I take it, I fold it back over. I use my handy dandy 1-inch steel square, heavy as hell, tool steel weight. That's it, I'm done for like 20 minutes. If you wait for the glue to dry in between, if I had actually waited for the glue to dry, as soon as I touched it, it would have stuck together. As it stands right now, it's still loose. As a matter of fact, I could still peel it apart. Oh yeah. Toluene. Oh, fuck. Toxic waste. Yeah, it's toluene or xylene, or I don't know. It's one of the leans. All I know is it ain't good for you. It makes me dizzy, and I used to huff paint for a living. Blowing out, not sucking in. Alright, and actually, looks like it worked. Alright, but I am going to let it dry for a little bit. Okay, you'll notice a change in venue there, or a change in view. You also have to deal. I apologize for the wind noise that's coming through. My heater's blowing on it, and I ain't turning my heater off. It's one thing to turn the air conditioner off for a minute, but it's another thing to turn the heater off. I ain't turning the heater off for a little womp. You don't want to listen to what I have to say anyway. My terrible Belgian accent. Okay, so what I've been doing here, they make a tool for this, but I have a vise, right? So I marked the book right here. And very carefully slide it in. Give it a little squeeze. All I need to do here, or all I'm doing here, is just holding the book while I put some glue on. Yes, I have hit myself in the face with that thing. Okay, so I have these, the knots here. And the knots are kind of ugly, but interesting little trick. This thread that I'm using is pre-waxed. It's actually very waxy. And you'll notice this is my auto body repair hammer, which looks shockingly just like a finder's hammer. I just take it and tap the just tapping the knots down a little bit. I don't really care if you can see the binding. Like I said, this is more of an arts and crafts project or a crafty project than an art project. So I slather a good bit of contact adhesive on there. Oh yeah. Now you can see I just glued the knot, right? So that knot's not going to come undone. If you bothered to listen to that part of the story, or that part of the video, I glued the knot. And believe it or not, the contact cement and the wax should probably get along a little bit. Doesn't matter because it ain't coming apart. Tain't coming apart. Now, I'm just kind of slather this on. This shit's expensive. It's $11 a fucking bottle. Yeah, I know. I've complained a lot about money during this entire project, but the joke here was when I started to write the book, this is the first bullshit hobby that I've gotten into that didn't cost me any money. Well, I figured out how to make it cost me money. Well, at least it's not a new $4,000 motorcycle or something crazy like that. So now I have this stuff's actually I just opened this can the other day. Contact adhesive has got a very, very, very short shelf life, like days. And it's a fucking mayfly life expectancy with contact cement. That's because of the glorious VOCs that get you high. And it's a double-edged sword there. Alright, so I'm going to stick that on there like that. Now, I'm going to shut the camera off again because this time I'm going to wait for it to dry, and you'll see why. You come back. Oh. I hate this shit. Oop, missed the spot. It's probably the most important spot right there. There. Yeah. Okay, next part. So I've got my, excuse the printer in the background because I'm printing something. Surprisingly, not a book cover. But so there's my vinyl. It's sticky and icky. It's got the sticky icky. And I'm going to put my bald head in the way here. And get that side lined up. Just want to check to make sure. Oh, when I measured this stuff stretches like crazy. Which is kind of good, but also kind of bad. Look at my bald head. So I try to get that lined up the best I can. And then just press it on. Right, give it a nice press. I got glue on my fingers, of course, which makes this harder. I should probably be wearing cotton gloves for this. And then pull it over. Not super tight, but tight, kind of tight. And so this is basically what's holding the damn book together at this point. I really want to press it down on the spine, and what it does, which is kind of cool, is you can see where it's tied. In old-timey books, they would have like, I don't know, if you've ever seen an old-timey book, it has that. And I think it looks pretty cool. Eventually, one of these days, I'll buy a medium format or a large format printer and print this out so it's like a big book, but we're not doing that just yet. Yeah, it's a little crooked at the end. They all are. Alright, now I'm going to back off my vise a wee bit. And then I got to be careful because I've done this before. I want to get that right about there. I want to line it up as straight as I can without kinking anything, which I've gotten kinky on these in the past. I want it about 3/16, a little bit more, about 1/4 of an inch reveal. Tighten it up. press it in. Now, to make sure it's nice and stuck, I'm taking this little roller here, and I'll give it a little roll. And you'll see, you probably can't see it on camera, but trust me, it's molding nicely to the spine of the book, which is exactly what I want. Came out pretty nice. Okay. A little proud on both ends, which is what I want. This end's not quite. You can actually pull it a little before it sets. Okay. There we go. Now the spine's on. Alright, now, I took the book out of the press here, the vise with the call boards, and it's, the book's basically done, kinda, except I put the cover on, right? So, how do I do that? Well, first thing I have to do, and this is voice of experience here, mark the front of the book. Because I'm going to flipping it around. It's a lot easier to screw this up than you think it is. Trust me, I know. So, alright, let me set that aside for just a second. I'm going to do this one first. I'm not going to use the bone. Bone. Just going to do that. And then kind of, I had one of these peeled off, but I was rushing it, and it wasn't totally dry yet. So this is obviously the back of the book, shiny and golden. Roller. I used a bone to do that once before, and I ripped the paper. I really want to do that again. So now, okay. So now, take this one and slide it in onto this one. Now, I'm going to show the major flaw with doing it this way, because there is a huge flaw, and it kind of makes it look like crap. But again, these are prototypes, and I actually just blew it. I had the opportunity to correct this problem seconds ago with the next one, because remember, I've got 3 of these cooking. Bastard. I got 3 of these cooking right now. So I just kind of eye this up, kind of like I eyed that up. And there's, believe it or not, there's a decent size like divot in there, relief. My allergies are tearing me up. That, and this place smells like the inside of an ashtray. And you know why Kurt Vonnegut sounded like shit all the time, because he was a chain smoker. Just like me. Alright, I'm gonna grab a fresh glue stick here. Now, I don't know if you saw what I did there. I very carefully, I taped this off, and I held my finger on here, and I kind of peeled it up just a little bit, and I kept my finger on it like that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put some glue on it here. You'll see why in a second. Okay. Roller action. Roller is really the way to go with this stuff. Now, why did I do that? Well, I did that because if I don't do that, again, voice of experience, this thing's going to want to jiggle jaggle and wiggle waggle around on me when I do the next step. Believe it or not, it's pretty close to being good right there. I'm just going to tip that up just a little bit. I'm going to take some of this contact cement here. I'm going to rush this one just a little for the sake of video. Kind of. You know, there's a fine line here between getting it too close to the edge and not. You know, you'll see when I'm wiping it, I'm doing it this way. Don't go that way, trust me. Like that, and then go like that. Now, I'm going to stick a little bit on this side. And this is going on like super thin too. And I'm doing that for a reason, because I want it to dry quick. You don't need a lot of this stuff. Glue is interesting in that sometimes less is more. With contact cement, oftentimes less is more. Okay, so I got that. And I'm gonna sit here and huff it for a minute. Oh yeah. Because it's already dry there, but that's not dry yet. Okay. Now I'm gonna take the glue stick, the good old-fashioned tastes like cow's glue stick. I said a kid that ate paste. Well, I love the taste of paste. It's delicious. That's it. That's that. Nice coat there. So I kind of rushed that a little. Now, you take this off before it dries. Set that aside because I'm cheap. Now, not for nothing, I had ran enough tape. I probably gone through rolls of tape from here to the moon, literally. And I get cheap when it's my tape and I'm paying for it. All right, so I got my roller back out. Give it a little roll. Rolling, rolling, rolling. Okay, now flip it over. VFA, top. VFA, top. Really, should have been here when I screwed that one up. Okay, that's that. Get that a little, just to put a tiny crease in on this side. I mean, like I said, I'm using my thumb. I'm not using my bone. Don't want to use the bone because you'll rip it. Trust me. Cheeky hair. It's okay. Roll. Now, one of the really nice advantages of using pre-cut stuff is it's pre-cut, right? So everything's relatively close to the right size. When I hand cut my own stuff, even though I have I get a cheap Chinese paper cutter, and I get cheap Chinese paper cutter results. Now I just kind of eye that up a little, and eye it up on both ends here, about 1/4 of an inch. A handy scale out, quarter, close enough. It's close enough. Stuff's all going to jitterbug around anyway. A piece of tape that I just saved. Flip it around, that's the gluey side. Oops. Stick that on there. It only has to stay for a second. You'll notice this isn't the green shit frog tape that you get from Home Depot either. This is the good stuff. Because I'm a tape diva. Finger in there, flip it up. Make sure you put the lid back on your glue stick. You know how I know. Less is more. You can't buy, I can't find it, Elmer's paste, the delicious stuff. I haven't been able to find it. I've been looking. Apparently they don't make it anymore. They just make glue sticks, which I actually did find. I do have Elmer's glue stick. I like the bigger ones better. Put the lid back on. Tell me this. There. Now. again, I can't stress enough that these are not archival mountings. If these things last a couple years, that's fine. My assumption is they're going to look like the books at the end of the Time Machine. The good one from the 1960s. That shit one I made in the 2000s. Alright. Now, I'm going to give it another bit of this. Give it another bit of the business here. I'm doing the same thing with the glue stick, as I'm running the glue stick off the paper. That way. And then hit it in the middle. It's not a big deal if you get rubber cement on your glue stick. At least it's not to me. Is the key to my success. The guy that can't see probably shouldn't have clear acetate laying on the table covered with junk. Alright, there we go. Now, swing it a little bit that way. There you go. Well, Ted, there you go. There's your book. You got to see all the aggravation that went into making it. Actually, that one might not be yours. Yeah, this one's actually not yours. You'll get a different one. Alright, that's it. Vengeance for all. Shockingly, I jumped the gun on my project because I like to show all my warts. Especially this one on top of my head here, I didn't know I had. I forgot to point out the biggest flaw of doing this project this way. And I gotta fix it anyway, so I figured I'd fire the camera back up. I'll stick this at the end of the video, right? So it actually already reared its ugly head here. So I got this hunk of paper flying wild. And I could probably leave that. I don't really want to. So I needed to press it anyway, so I just peel it back. Again, run it off the page. Now this is where I've screwed it up, because I put glue where I shouldn't have. I really should be putting glue on this side, but this side's a pain in the ass to put the glue on. Oops. Oh, yuck. It's like dog shit. So yeah, do that and then press it down. Stick my hunk of acetate back in here. So you can see here, this is where the problem is there's a clear as day joint right there. Tough titties. That's the way I feel about it. Again, this is an artsy-fartsy project. This is an artsy-fartsy project for my friends to laugh at me for. But that's the... There we go. Now, stick that in there like that. Stick that back together. Just give that a little bit of a press there. Now that I have glue all over me, let's wipe it on my pants. Stick the acetate back in there. The glue won't stick to the acetate, but it absolutely will stick to the paper. Found that out. So that's the end. And then what I didn't show that either is I have a pressing board. I'm actually going to move this one because I got another one I want to start. So now I'll leave this under the press, or under weight, for 24 hours. And then this one will be done, and then this, actually I've got a full set that are all the same that are going to another friend. they're going to another friend, and then I have 3 more I have to do right this week. I already have the covers printed out for the 5th book, which is A Day of Remembrance. I'm waiting on my my editor, and I've got another trick up my sleeve for this project, which is in the way of the end papers. But I'll show that one. I'll show that when my editor's done with it and I can get it back, typeset it, print it. And the Day of Remembrance is going to be pretty cool. The book's cool too. And thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. 2 thumbs up. Blah, blah, blah.